Hello everybody and welcome back to Shay's Hobby Doc Bay. To me this seems kind of dark and gloomy. Of course the sun is not shining outside today. It's a cloudy, gloomy day. It's not raining or thundering or lightning. The sun just ain't shining. So anyway, that may be why, I don't know, or I don't know if something's wrong with my lighting or what. Anyways, today's Wednesday. I don't know. Let me use my phone. I'm not on my laptop yet. I can't concentrate. Today is August the 29th, 2018. And it is 5:07 p.m. at the evening time. Hubby's still at work. Elizabeth's still at work. I'm here by myself. Didn't have Gracie. They've been out of town for the weekend. They just got back yesterday. We've been keeping Bella, actually. They got back late yesterday evening. Come by and got Bella. Went on home. I just seen my Gracie girl for a few minutes. But anyway, this is a booktube video. So, this is to let y'all know the last book on my phone book that I read was that Marigold and Murder one, I think. And I think I told y'all about that one. I think I showed y'all the next book that I was going to read. Let me pull this up. Should have done had this pulled up, I guess. Alright. Let me go find it, so give me a minute here. It's going to be all the way at the bottom. There it is. Almost bottom. So, this right here was the one I was going to read, Ashes. I have read and finished that book. Okay. It is not what I thought it was. The way it read about what it was about, it sounded like, you know, I even mentioned Secret Service and people that seen someone get murdered and who done it, and they have to change their name and move away and hide with the Secret Service and stuff like that. That's what I thought this book was going to be about. It wasn't. So I was disappointed in it once I kind of got into it and seen that that's not what it was. But the way I am, when I start a book, I mean, it has to be really, really, really raunchy. Something that I'm just really, really, really not into for me to stop reading it in the middle like that and not finish it. I'm funny like that. I mean, I'm really not liking it, really not wanting to read it, but I cannot make myself stop. I have to finish the book. Of course, the more I got into reading it, the more interesting it got. I don't really think it's a cozy mystery. I don't know why it's brought up. Oh, yeah, I do know why. The author's name was Kelly Cozy. C-O-Z-Y. That's why it was brought up. But it's not a cozy mystery. But I have, like I said, went out. Now, there's some, you know, real bad, gory stuff, and I told you I don't like the vampire stuff and all of that kind of stuff. So there's some way out there that I don't like and don't care for and ain't gonna read. But some I have, and this is kind of like that. So it was a little bit interesting. So let me see if I can tell y'all what it was about and not be too long about it. So, this lady, the main character, her name's Jennifer, she lived in California, Los Angeles, California, worked in an office building, and there was a bomb set in that building and it exploded. The whole side of it came out. So it was a terrorist type thing, kind of in a way. she survived. She got out of it, but everybody else didn't. She was like the only survivor. Well, she wasn't really the only survivor. She was the last one to come out of the building. A fireman toted her out. Well, there's this other guy in Florida at his house. Sean was his name, and he was watching the news on TV when it happened, and when he seen the firefighter bring the girl out, and he felt sorry for her. He seen the look on her face, and he felt like he knew what she was feeling, and that she was feeling guilt that she was the survivor and everybody else didn't make it. She felt like that was her fault because she kept, putting herself down, thinking, I never done nothing, I just got out of there, I didn't try to help nobody, blah blah blah, that sort of thing. Anyway, so he wanted to help her. Well, he happened to be a guy that works with the government, so he's a good guy, but his job is not a good job, because he worked where he would find the bad guys that done things like that, and he would take them out. But yet he had just got fired from his job. Okay, so he wasn't working with them anymore. But he takes it upon himself to help this girl, this Jennifer. So he's going to go after he's going to find out who the bad guys that done this. He's going to go after them, and he's going to bring them to Jennifer and let her take them out. That was his whole thinking. So, it goes through the whole ordeal. It's long. It's like a year and a half that he goes through trying to find these people. Well, he finds them, found out who they were. He actually pretends like he gets in with their group, like he's going to be one of their members to help them because they're planning to do it again somewhere else. So he, he gets in with them, but he's finding out. So he ends up, well, to get there, he actually, because some of his workers, or the people that he had worked with in his government job, one of them was after him because the boss sent them after him. And his friend Robert, that also had helped him work in there, had helped him, or had told him to watch his back. They would probably be after him. And so, yeah, the guy came after him, and they was fighting. The guy had even shot him, but Sean had a bulletproof vest on. And they fought, and it happened to be outside in the woods, and it happened to be, they was at a lake, I think it was a lake, and it was frozen over, and so they was on the ice fighting, and it cracked, and there was a hole, and the guy, not Sean, but the guy that was after him fell in, and the guy was pounding on the ice and asking him to help, and had that scared look on his face, and Sean didn't help him, and left. Sounds horrible, I know. So anyway, but then when he gets in with the people and the members and plays like he's one of them, he changes his name, says his name is Sam instead of Sean, for them. But he finds out who actually, because one of the members had been a janitor, played a janitor to go into that building and work and check it all out, and then to set the bomb stuff up there. So he was the one that done that. So Sean had found that out, and he takes him out. Two other guys that were brothers that was in the members. One was a good one, one was a bad one. The bad one came after Sean, just because he was that way and didn't like him. Sean knew this, but they fought and it turned on him, and Sean got him. Took him out. Then Sean had knew all along the leader of the group, Richard, was the one that kind of got it all together and got them all together and, instigated it, I guess would be the word. I don't know, anyway. So he's the one that he wanted to bring to Jennifer. But it's back and forth with Sean's life and Jennifer's life, and at first she's having a hard time, the guilt, trying to get through that, and eventually she leaves the United States and goes to Canada, because that's her hiding. That's the part where I thought it was the other kind of hiding. She, just changing her life. She didn't want nobody to know. She had been in the news and was on, her picture, and everybody knew her and the looks they gave her, and she didn't like it, and blah, blah, blah. she wanted to change. She wanted to get away from that. So she didn't change her name, but she moved to Canada. Got a job there, made friends, and she worked in a library, and she started tutoring a little boy that couldn't read, and got to know his fisherman dad. He was, single. The little boy's mom had left him and all this kind of stuff, and they got close, and she was enjoying her life now, and she had a friend that lived right by her, and things was going well and good, and blah, 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 back and forth and all this kind of stuff. Well, at the end, Sean brings Richard to her, but the way he done it, he had to, put stuff over her nose to breathe to make her knock out. He took her to a safe house, and he had Richard with him, and he was talking to her when he finally undid her and, untied her. He talked to her, he explained who Richard was and what he'd done, and that he'd brought him to her and all this, and boy, she was all, why? I don't want this, I didn't want this. She fussed at him, and then she made a decision, and her decision was, because Sean had given her the gun, and there was 6 bullets in it, she took 3 out, empty, full, empty, full, empty, full, that sort of thing, and she fixed it, and she said, I'm going to give you a chance. She didn't look at it, she didn't know how it was going to come out. So, at the end of the book, she shot 1 shot at Richard, and, I can't even remember now how that went. I mean, I don't know if it killed him or if he was alive, and she had to shoot again. Well, I mean, it kind of ended right there. So there's a second book. The name of it's The Reckoning, and the story continues there. Well, I'm not gonna bother with getting it and reading it, even though it's very tempting. I am very curious to see how it ends. I'm just not that interested enough. I'm not gonna read the second book. So now I've got to find, I have not yet, but I gotta find me another phone book to read at night, late in my bed before I go to sleep, to drop off to sleep. But since this didn't take so long, I'm going to combine this into one video instead of 2. Excuse me, we're only in 12 minutes. My library book club book has come in. I told y'all it was in waiting on me, so I got it. Our next library book club meeting is September the 20th, I believe. And this is the book that we're reading and we'll be talking about. It is called News of the World, a novel by Paulette Giles. I don't know how you say that. And normally this type of thing is not my kind of book. I don't really like war books. It's way back in the day. But I've started reading the first chapter of it last night, and that's all I've gotten into it. So I am at chapter 2, and it's interesting enough that I want to keep reading it in because it's for the book club. I'm going to read it so I can go to the book club and talk with them about it. Alright, I'm going to read it to you. It shows like a map here in the front of it, and I think in the back too. Yeah. Okay, and there's the author right there. It actually says Paulette Giles, I'm not sure how to say her last name, is a poet, memoirist, and best-selling novelist. Her books include the memoir Cousins and the novels Enemy Women, Stormy Weather, The Color of Lightning, and Lighthouse Island. She lives on a ranch near San Antonio, Texas. Alright, I'm going to read to you, we're 14 minutes in, read to you what the book is about. In the aftermath of the Civil War, Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd drifts through northern Texas, performing live readings from newspapers to paying audiences hungry for news of the world, of the Irish pouring into New York City, of the railroad driving into the new state of Nebraska, of an eruption of Popocatépetl, some of these words I don't know how to pronounce, near Mexico City, an elderly widower who has lived through 3 wars and fought, oh, hang on, let me say something else. The elderly widow, I didn't say it right. The elderly, and I lost my place. I'm trying to hurry up. The elderly widower is him, the man that travels, Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, and reads these things. That intrigued me about him. He goes from town to town on horse, because it's way back in the day, and he reads the news to people. They pay him a nickel a person for him to read. They gather in like a barn. That was what happened in the first chapter, and so that intrigued me. You know, someone that travels like that. Things these days, they don't do that sort of thing. Nobody travels around from town to town reading news to people because they want to hear the news. Seem like they can't hear it from any other way or whatever. I don't know. It just kind of intrigued me. You know, it's funny to me how back in the day, things people used to do. Nowadays, they don't do that at all. You wouldn't never hear tell of anything like that. It's just funny to me and interesting. Let me see if I can hurry up here. So it tells about him near Mexico City. An elderly widower who has lived through 3 wars and fought in 2 of them. The captain once made his living as a printer until the war between the states took his press and everything with it. Now, at 71, he enjoys the freedom of the road, even if his body aches and money is scarce. At a stop in Wichita Falls, Captain Kidd is offered a $50 gold piece to deliver a young orphan to her relatives near San Antonio. 4 years earlier, a band of Kiowa, it's a type of Indians, I think, I don't know, maybe not, raiders viciously killed Johanna Leonberger's parents and sister. That's the orphan girl. Sparing the little girl, they raised her as their own, recently recovered by the U.S. Army. The 10-year-old with blue eyes and hair the color of maple sugar has once again been torn away from the only home and family she knows. The captain's sense of duty and of compassion propel him to accept, though he knows the journey will be long and difficult. So that intrigues me too. He's going to, from what I've read from the first chapter, he's going to take this girl, and as he travels around reading news, he's going to take her to her family in San Antonio, Texas. That's as far as I've gotten. It's all I know, but that's what intrigued me about it. 17 minutes. Let's see if we can hurry up. Winding through unsettled territory and unforgiving terrain, the 400-mile odyssey south proves dangerous as well. A corrupt Reconstruction administration runs the state government, and anarchy, if I said that right, and lawlessness have taken hold. The captain must watch for thieves, Comanches, and that up K word, and the federal army, and corral the wild Johanna, small and thin. The despondent child has forgotten the English language, tries to escape at every opportunity, throws away her shoes, and refuses to act civilized. Yet as the miles pass, the weary Johanna slowly draws closer to the man she calls Captain, and the 2 lonely survivors forge a bond that marks the difference between life and death in this treacherous land. But in San Antonio, another hurdle awaits, one that will force this respectable man to make a terrible choice that will determine Johanna's fate and his own. Unfolding in gorgeous prose, News of the World is a vivid portrait that captures a beautiful and hostile land and a masterful exploration of the boundaries of family, responsibility, honor, and trust. Okay, we're 19-something. I gotta hurry. So that's the club book I'm reading on now. Started last night. I will keep y'all updated on it. Okay, I'm out of here until next time. I'm done. I'm going to the loo.